Hello my fabulous crafty friends, and thank you for joining me on the process of how I made this super cute in my case I made an aged birthday card, but it could be any kind of birthday card, and I used a gate fold. I used my Pebbles Happy Cake Day collection and that Stamping Up card set, stamp set, not card set. So there's my little cheat sheet, so if anyone needs the directions or instructions or whatever, just shoot me a holler and I can send you a photo through of that. It's got all the measurements of everything you need. So I'm starting off by cutting my cardstock base, and then I'm going to score one of the lines that I need to fold the gate fold with, and then I'm just going to bring the other side in to meet it in the middle, just so I know that it's a perfect match there in the middle. So it's a 5.5 inch card in size, which is just a nice size to fit in a normal standard envelope. So once I've gone ahead and made the base of my cardstock, I do need to do the gate fold. Well, that's the fold, but like the ring that's going to adhere it to the front. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Stampin' Up layered circled dies. And you can see there I've picked two that will leave a small, like an 1/8 of an inch all the way around the outside. So that's going to cause my ring effect. And I need to cut two of these just so I can put one on the front and one on the inside of the card. It just makes it a little bit of a neater finish. I don't quite have enough room for the second one, so I'm just going to roll with it anyway, because I am going to end up covering it up. So off we go, rolling through with the second layer. Now the inside, the little inside circle there, you don't actually need that, so you can just leave it for something else or pop it in your scrap, or if you're that way inclined, just toss it out. Then that small circle, you actually want that to be white, so you're going to get some white cardstock and you're going to cut out 2 white circles. So just to recap, you've cut your base cardstock, which was 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and you did a score line at the 2 1/8 mark, and that was where your first gate fold happened. And then your second gate fold is approximately 6 3/8, but it didn't quite meet exactly, so you're better off just pulling the other side in by eye and just creasing it shut. Then you cut 2 large circle rings in green and 2 of the actual circles in white. Then you need to cut, get rid of that, you don't need that. Then you need to cut the layer that's going to be the first sort of mat on the front of your cardstock, and that's 2 inches by 5 3/8. So 2 inches by 5 3/8. So I'm just cutting the 5 3/8 now. And they're going to go on the front of your gate fold, just to be your decoration. Then you also need to cut a piece that's going to go inside your card where you can write, which is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that's going to allow you somewhere to write with just your normal pen. I like to put sort of a white or a cream or something nondescript inside where your writing can go easily. You can see I'm just using an old piece of patterned paper that I don't love, but it's white on the other side, because, you stick it all down. Nobody knows that you have got something on the inside. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose the pattern paper that's going to front my card. I used the Hip Hip Array on my example one that I showed you at the start, but this time I think I'm going to use either those candles or these cupcakes, or maybe even these party hats. So I'm just having a look. There's some really cute pattern papers that are sort of based in pink that I would love to use, but I am thinking about this being more for a boy, because giving them to Katie in her mother's group, most of the children were boys, so I'm conscious of that. Now this piece of cardstock, you are cutting 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So that's going to sit on top of the white mat. So your gate fold is going to obviously be green because that's the base of your card, and then you're going to have a white mat, and then you're going to have your pattern paper on top. Now I'm working on my number 2. I've got my stamp from my Stampin' Up! Stamp set, and I'm just stamping it in the Versamark glue, and then I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use gold. On the example card I used copper, but this time I'm going to use gold embossing powder. Now there's no reason it needs to be done like this. You could absolutely use a thicker. We have some really cute thickers. You could just stamp it as it is. You could cut out a number using your silhouette, whatever takes your fancy. I just felt like embossing. We don't do it all that often. It's cute, it's shiny, why not? So I actually do 2 layers because I wanted to. I thought it would be nice and bright and yeah, just be good. So I do it twice. The coverage was pretty much fine the first time, but I just wanted to do it a second time, so I am. Then once that is done, it's been a long time since I've pulled out my embossing things, but it was fun. So once that is done, I love the look of when the embossing like starts to melt and you just can watch it slowly whoosh, like a Mexican wave. So now it is time to assemble all of the bits and pieces of this card together. So I'm going to adhere this large piece of cardstock inside my gate. Then I'm going to close up the flaps and I'm going to adhere the white cardstock on the front of the card. Then once I've gone ahead and done that, I will then adhere the patterned paper on top of this white, just making sure you leave a super nice little border as evenly as you can all the way around of each of your colours. And now it's time to make the actual circle front of my fold. So I just get one of each of the circles, so one of the green outlines and one of the white insides. I just want to make sure I'm only adhering half, like the half. So the round circle is going to adhere to the right hand side, and the green loop, the green gate, the green ring is going to adhere to the left hand side. So I only want glue on half of the circle so that I'm not actually gluing my card closed. I hope that makes sense. You can see a bit better there where I've just put the glue on only one half of the ring. So there's half the ring done, and then there's the circle done. So they're adhered to just their sides of the card, of the fold. Then obviously, because you could actually leave yours like that if you are using a plain white cardstock, but because I'm using a cardstock that has pattern on the other side, I need to adhere my second circle to the back just to make sure you can't see the other stock, because that's a bit unprofessional. Then I'm going to put my second ring. Now if this was a full ring, you could absolutely just leave your patterned, like your circles just like that and be done. You could technically not add an additional ring on the back, but I'd also like it for strength. It just makes it that little bit stronger. And because that's kind of the main mechanism that's opening and closing your card all the time, it is a little bit, it does need to be a little bit stronger. And, you know, we're giving this to a child as well. If you're giving it to an adult, you could maybe not worry so much. Then I've gone ahead and popped foam all over my number 2, and I've picked a little piece of ephemera out of the Happy Cake Day ephemera pack. And I'm adhering that onto the middle of my circle, then adhering my number 2 onto the middle of my circle, and it's, as I said, popped up on foam. And then I decided I didn't like, oh no, at the moment I'm looking for a sentiment that can go in the middle of my card, because I don't want to stamp anything. I don't have a huge amount of stamp sets. I'm kind of running out of all the ones I've already used. So I'm just going to pick something in here that's texty, that's quotey, that can go in the middle of my card as kind of like having my sentiment that's stamped inside. And I go ahead with this one because the hat sort of ties in with the hats on the outside. It is actually a tag though, so I'm just going to make sure that it's cut nice and neatly square or rectangle, and then I'll adhere that inside the card. I'm just going to eyeball it, but I'm going to do my best to line it up in the very center, and I'm going to use the circle, the number 2 circle, as sort of my base as to where the center would be on the inside. So popping my double-sided tape on, and then just a rough guess by looking at where the corners are poking out around the circle, And then, ta-da, we have it. Now, you could technically leave it like that, but I didn't love the look of that half a ring because I didn't have enough green left. So I just popped a little bit more pattern paper over on that side. And there you have it. There are our 2 cards complete. Super cute. Really happy with those. And I think they're a perfect little present or a little card to give to a small child on their 2nd birthday. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this process, and I hope you are enjoying watching us make cards for this month. We've never done that before. I was way out of my comfort zone doing cards, but I kind of am getting used to it now. Again, if you need anything from me, if you want that cheat sheet that has all the measurements and stuff, just let me know and I'll definitely shoot that through. Excuse me, just shoot me an email and I will shoot that through to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join us again tomorrow to see what our advent calendar gifts are tomorrow. Can't wait to see you and talk to you then.